I'm going to share with you 6 different grade 3 marks that 5 different learners got in recent weeks and months. I'm doing this so you can be aware of these marks and so that the same thing doesn't happen to you on your test. A grade 3 mark is something that is dangerous or potentially dangerous according to the tester, and if you get even one grade 3 mark, that means you're going to fail your test no matter what happens before or after the grade 3. So to put it mildly, you do not want to be chalking up any of these on your test. So let's get started. So the first grade 3 we're going to talk about is a grade 3 mistake that was accumulated at a traffic lights. Something like this. I'm going to go through this diagram here in my book first, and I'm also going to show you a Google Maps image of the specific junction that we're talking about on the south side of Cork City, somewhere between Togher and Bishopstown. So here's what happened. The learner driver was coming up to the lights from this side, so we'll just pretend the learner driver was the yellow car, okay? As she was coming up to the lights, it was red from about 30-40 meters away, but then as she was getting closer, it turned green. So the car in front rolled up into the middle. Now in her case, there was no yellow box as such, it was just like a blank, no road markings in the middle, but the rules apply anyway, whether there's a yellow box or not, you still roll up like. And then what she did then, she was following the blue car. Now she ended up kind of going up here on a pedestrian crossing, you see. Now I would not have advised that at all. Unless there's clearly room for 2 cars in the middle, I would say to someone here, just stay back, because if this car gets stuck in the middle, you're going to end up getting stuck on a pedestrian crossing, and that's not ideal. So I would have said to her, no, stay back there and don't go into the middle unless you're sure 2 cars can comfortably fit. Anyway, she went up, she blocked the pedestrian crossing here, but that wasn't even the big problem. There was a long line of cars coming from straight, coming down this way, and maybe 1 or 2 turned this way. And eventually the car in front, the blue car, got his opportunity and he turned in here successfully. And then just as he was turning in then, the learner driver here rolled up, but she noticed then that her light was about to go red, and it did go red. So there was 1 or 2 cars that were a little bit late crossing the junction, let's say, coming down from here to here. And then a big truck came after those 2 cars down here. The truck came down this direction, like that. And that kind of delayed her and slightly panicked her a bit more. And what happened then was pedestrians suddenly had the right of way. So there was we'll call it like a red light for everybody else, but flashing amber lights for pedestrians to cross here. Just imagine there's a pedestrian crossing here, for example, and the pedestrians had the right of way. Now there was no pedestrians crossing here, but they would have had right of way if there was one. The learner anyway decided to stay in the middle. She didn't clear the junction, and when she got back to the test centre, the tester said, the reason you got a grade 3 on progress at traffic lights is because you didn't clear the junction. You should have cleared the junction there once you had rolled up into the middle, in spite of the fact that there were pedestrian lights on here. The tester said that's fair enough, but there was no pedestrians there, so you needed to clear the junction and not get stuck in the middle, because that is just not ideal and will result in a straight fail. You see, by clearing the junction, she was doing it in good faith and she was following the rules of the road. But because she didn't do that, she risked blocking other cars here, which would have been more serious than passing by an empty pedestrian crossing. The tester said because there was no pedestrians there, it's not as serious, and as I said, you're just trying to finish out the turn in good faith. So let's have a look at the actual image of that junction now, thanks to a Google Maps image that she sent me. So this is it here. It's like a crossroads, traffic lights, as I was saying, no yellow box in the middle, but the part there where you see marked me, that's the learner driver, and the part that's marked car, that's the car in front of her that successfully completed his turn, no problem. So she was turning into Pierce Road there on the right. The pedestrian crossing, let's say, that caused her the issue, that caused her to stay stuck, was the pedestrian crossing there that's just situated behind the word Pierce. That's the pedestrian crossing that she was reluctant to cross because the amber lights were on that gave the pedestrians right of way, and that's the crossing we're talking about in Cork. If you know that crossing, if you're familiar with it, let me know in the comment section. If you have any feedback from a driving instructor about this, let me know in the comment section. It'll be interesting to read. So the next grade 3 we're going to talk about is a clearance mistake that one of my learners actually failed on about 2 weeks ago here in Wexford. The specific mistake he failed on is not something that I'd ever seen him do, but as a driving instructor, sometimes you're not going to come across mistakes that a learner will do in the lessons and the test. Sometimes it's one or the other, and all roads are different, so sometimes these little surprises will pop up. Anyway, my learner was the blue car, and he was trying to take a right turn to go this way from a minor road out onto a main road. So my learner was the blue car. There was a yellow car here turning in, okay, and of course the yellow car has the right of way because the blue car has to yield to the yellow car. But unfortunately, my learner got a little bit excited, and as the yellow car was just about to not start his turn, but we'll say midway across the lane, my learner then decided this will be a good time to go like that, and he got very, very, very close to the back of the yellow car, which is not a good look, as you can imagine. As well as physically being too close to him, he's being blinded temporarily by the yellow car as well, so that's not good, and that's why he failed. And the specific area that he failed on was clearance to other traffic, because he was a little bit too enthusiastic about pulling out there. It's a pity really, because he was a good driver, and only for that he would have passed, and he should pass next time, hopefully with a bit of luck. But he knows now, and I've explained it to him, that he has to wait until the yellow car is well in off the road, is in no way blocking this lane, and then he can proceed out and take his right turn. The yellow car has to be well in your blind spot, like as in, you'd have to look over your right shoulder to see him basically. He has to be well in here before you attempt to go out there, because it's just too dangerous to do it when the yellow car was in the previous position. So the next learner we're going to talk about emailed me in a few weeks ago, and she got 2 grade 3s. One was on the reaction to hazards and one was on yield right of way turning right. They were both kind of to do with right turns. So first of all, on the reaction to hazards, the tester said that when she was leaving the test centre, so she was turning right to exit the test centre to go onto the road like that, the tester said that she rushed out too much and didn't take into account any pedestrians that might have been potentially there on the footpath, say here and here. It sounds from her email like the footpath was kind of a little bit large, a little bit wider, let's say, and perhaps she needed to just creep forward a little bit more to get a better view of the pedestrians potentially on the left or right. Now she says she had a clear view and there was no pedestrians there, but sometimes the learner has slightly rose tinted glasses when it comes to describing these things. You have to understand that just because you can't see any pedestrians doesn't mean there might not be anyone there. So you always have to ask yourself, should I creep forward another little, another maybe foot or foot and a half, lean forward, creep out, because there could be a wall there could be parked cars or bushes or something there that's going to blind you. So just be careful on that, especially if it's your first turn exiting a test centre. The other mark she got was a yield mark, so a grade 3 mark on yield right of way. Now she says she doesn't remember this, but apparently the tester said to her that you pulled out on a right turn when there was another car already on the road. Now I don't know whether the other car was on the right or the left, because as I said, she doesn't remember. But I wanted to show you this image first of all here. If you look at this like crossroads here, okay, if I'm the driver of the red car, I have got a pretty good view along the right here, okay? I can see pretty clearly up to the right. But if you look to the left here, I can only see like that much there. How many car lengths is that? Okay, we'll say like 1, 2, 2.5 car lengths, 3 at best, okay? At best. So she might have had a great view on the right, okay? And that might have led her into a false sense of security. So she might have said, okay, there's nothing on the right, a clear view, there's nothing on the left, okay, I'm just going to go. Boom, out she goes. And all of a sudden she sees another car coming up here, or the tester sees another car, because the poor learner, God love her, doesn't remember. And it goes back to what I was saying at the start of this little piece when I said, just because you can't see anything doesn't mean there's nothing there. So the other car was there, it's just that she couldn't see her because she was overly confident or overly sure of herself, and she just kind of pulled out. And the other car was probably on the way up. Maybe it was hidden behind other parked cars, maybe it was hidden behind a wall or something like that, or a bend, who knows. But as I was saying, you can't go out based on a junction that is partially blind, like you can only see that much down 3 car lengths. You have got to creep out gently, lean forward, give yourself the best possible angle, and at least then you might still get a mark for yielding right of way or observation, for example, but at least you've tried to creep out and give yourself a better view, because you have to give yourself a better view. You can't go if you're blinded or partially blinded. So that's where she lost marks there, for pulling out when somebody else had the right of way and somebody else was coming up. So the next grade 3 we're going to talk about is a grade 3 mark that a learner picked up on yield right of way turning right. So the learner was the red car, and the learner wanted to take a right turn to go this way, and there was a blue van coming down here. Okay, so the blue van was hoping to turn right like this. So blue van going this way, the learner wanted to go this way. The learner was waiting, and then the learner noticed that the blue van was waving her out. So the blue van was beckoning her out onto the road. So what the learner driver did was she went, I'll just bring the blue van back a little bit, sorry, he was probably a bit further back. So he waved her out, and the learner driver then went and completed her right turn like that. And I then presume the blue van went in once it was safe. When she got back to the test centre, the tester said to her, you should have let that blue van go because he was on the main road and he had the right of way. And I don't know how the conversation went. She didn't say if the tester went into more detail, or she didn't talk about the beckoning of the other driver. So I'm not sure if he said anything or if she's omitted that. But what you have to understand here is this blue van is trying to be nice. He's trying to do his good deed for the day. But what he's doing is he's putting you at more risk of having an accident, and he's putting you in danger inadvertently. Because if you pull out there based on his waving or based on his beckoning, you are being temporarily blinded as you cross the road by the sheer size of the van. And especially if it's a van, because vans are bigger than cars. So if there's a cyclist coming down here, or if there's another car overtaking the van on the left, you're going to be at fault here, because you could easily be pulling out in front of them and risk causing an accident in this area here. So what you need to do here is, on a right turn, going from a minor to a major road, on a right turn, do not go out if somebody beckons you out, because the risks are too high. It's too dangerous. You're crossing 2 lanes. You could easily risk obstructing somebody or causing a crash there. So don't do it. Now, if you're turning left, it's a little bit different. So we'll bring this blue car down here, for example. Now, if you're turning left, if the red car is turning left here and he's way back here and he flashes you to go, or he gives you a wave to go, that might be a little bit easier to go because there's a bigger gap and there's less likelihood of someone overtaking here or overtaking here. So the risks are less, and you're only crossing into 1 lane. You're not crossing over 2 lanes. Look, it is a bit of a grey area. Testers will use their discretion here. Some testers might have a strict interpretation, and some testers might be a bit more flexible. It's hard for me to say, because the RSA, the Road Safety Authority, they don't tell us anything. They don't give us any guidelines. They don't give us any case studies, any examples. They tell us nothing. So we don't really know ourselves fully what driving testers are thinking here, because they refuse to tell us anything. So you have to kind of play it by ear a little bit. Testers will use their discretion, and it is a bit of a grey area. As I said, the learner driver certainly felt hard done by, and I can certainly sympathise with her feelings there. So the next thing we're going to talk about is a grade 3 mark on position turning right, because the learner said that she lost out because it was an unmarked junction, unmarked crossroads of some sort, and the lack of road markings meant that she accidentally ended up on the wrong side of the road, thereby losing a grade 3 on position turning right. Now, the majority of junctions, particularly around town, should be marked out with your triangles or your lines, so you know which side to be on. And you can see the hatch lines down here as well. But sometimes, every now and then, you may have an unmarked junction like this, where there's no markings on the approach or in the junction, let's say. And in these cases, if in doubt, you have got to keep left, okay? So here we have a crossroads here, 2 crossroads actually. So the one here on the top left is unmarked, and then this is obviously marked. So obviously this is easier because you know to be on the left side, stay left of the line. But if you find yourself coming up here and you're going left, right or straight, you have got to keep more to the left here, because if it's unmarked and you're on the right, for example, and another car is coming down here, you know, you're on the wrong side and you're going to be putting that other person in danger. You can see here I'm exiting a car park here, so it's not marked out, but I'm going to be keeping left of centre here as I exit the car park to make room for other cars that might want to turn in. And here I'm approaching a stop sign in a housing estate, and there's no markings on the road, cobblestones on the road, so that makes it a little bit more difficult for markings to be put down and markings to stick. So clearly I'm going to keep left of centre as I come up to the stop sign here, because that's the safe and the practical thing to do. If you found this video useful and to be beneficial, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and you can always support me by Patreon or by Revolut if you want. And you can also give me a tip via the Super Thanks button down below, which is a heart-shaped button. Thank you in advance for any support. So I'll see you soon. Bye for now.